So this is going to be our beam to replace that tie beam that's rotted through on the house. It doesn't have to be plumb because there's no floor on it. It's purely a tie beam to stick the two sides of the building together. So this is our tie beam. It had completely rotten through because of the hole in the roof, so we need to change that. The job of this beam is to hold the two sides of the building together, so when the roof weight pushes down, it doesn't splay it apart. This is the new one we cut.
Okay, more towards that way, you?
Go up there. Lift, honey. There we go. Lift. Okay, wait. Okay, slowly. I'm on a bucket. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Full disclosure, I don't really advise using a metal hammer to put in a wooden beam. It's not the best way to do it. You're better off with a wooden hammer, but I'd broken the handle off too many times and I just wanted to get it done, so I used the hammer that I had to hand. So this is ebonizing the beam. It's a mixture of vinegar, black tea and effectively rust, so old nails and whatever. What it does is it brings out the tannins in the oak and turns the beam black. Just helps it match the old one a bit better. I discovered on the lintel above the window that there's a lateral fracture going through the sandstone. It's not a big deal, but it would be good to reinforce it, so I thought I'd make this bracket just to make it a little bit stronger. I'm just marking the steel so I know where to bend it. I figured I'd put some markings on it. They mean absolutely nothing, and it's pretty much only to mess with people in the future that will try and figure out what it means. It looks cool as well. So the bracket gets bedded into the stone underneath, and it just helps relay some of that weight just in case our footing on the stone gets a bit weakened with time. Bit out of context, but here I am removing the shuttering for the concrete reinforced lintel that we poured. Seffi. Here we are getting all the tiles actually off the roof so we can organise them and recut them. Just rope burns and broken backs. Here's our roof, all flat packed and ready to go. Which is not really flat packed, it's just raw timber that got sawn for me. So we've got poplar boards and oak beams. The poplar's still got a little bit of drying to do, so we can expect a bit of shrinkage, but doesn't really matter for what we're using it for. Had to clean some of these beams up, or just check how bad some of the sections were in them, because I buy them cheap. At the time we decided this one should go up attached like this with a little reinforcing brace on it, just to keep it in shape, because this one is our first template which matches the roof, especially as we built down the front of the building. This is our only real true reference to how the building should be shaped, so we just wanted to keep at least this one in line. The rest of them we'll bring up and attach normally by beam, draw a peg through the middle as normal.
Get closer. As we get closer, I'm just like, oh god. Okay.
The holes that I've drilled in these two beams are slightly offset, so when I put this peg through and hammer it through, it actually pulls the joint tight together.
Isn't it cool sound?
Okay.
Yep.
There was a few indiscrepancies in the sizes of the beams from the sawmill, so I had to take a centimetre off here or there. I found it easier just doing it with this traditional carpenter's axe. I then went over it with a draw knife just to take out the more brutal marks, and leaves it like that. Perfectly okay for what we're doing. Now the beams are in, it gives us a good idea of how high to actually build the stonework up to. So I had a mate of mine come down and give me a hand with that, which is very cool. Bit more pointing, always pointing to do. The distance between the beams is quite irregular. I used the original spacings because I kept the same beam shelf and the same footings and everything, but there was no real measurement or level used when building this building. It was very much made by, let's call them les paysans.
You want to place another one time or just because there's this one already?
Bit of missing footage here, but I punched a chainsaw through the roof, put in the Velux and just added in a waterproof membrane. So after that, here we are, trying to figure out how to put in the first line of tiles, which is the most important. If you start wrong, it's never going to go better from there. So I ended up actually having to take this stuff down again and redo it, but it was for the best. So here I am making the brackets that are going to attach the tie beam to the beam shelf. The reason it's taken me so long to getting around to doing this piece is we had a heat wave that lasted months. So this is the first time after a few days rain I've been able to actually light the forge, just for safety's sake. I decided to forge in some chestnut shaped heads on the ends of the brackets as a little bit of a homage to the purpose of the building. There's always more pointing, but this time it's inside. So this is our second attempt at putting the first line of tiles in. I pulled out the old membrane and put a new one in just so it wasn't unnecessarily pierced. And this time we got it right. It's quite difficult setting out the first tiles because they're so large and irregular in pattern, shape, thickness and every way. When working with luz, I always sort of think of it as it's like opening a bag of potato chips or crisps and trying to organise them into something logical. There is very little norm or regularity with natural stone tiles. It's kind of a curse and a blessing. So although they're already cut on the ground, they all need a second cut on the scaffolding just to make sure they sit in the right position. So I had a little steel tie attached to the scaff, just helps you cut them sawpless. So we'll probably wrap this video up there. That's the majority of the roof carpentry done. Now it's just doing the interiors and finishing the tiles, going up to the ridge, all of that. So yeah, next up it'll be cob, lecky, floors, all that jazz. So yeah, like, subscribe, follow us on Mongrolieu on Instagram. Thanks very much.